renowned artist and heritage doyen Mbuso Khoza gets excited about heritage. Khoza is returning to the State Theatre this month, where heritage enthusiasts and music lovers will be treated to an evening of beautiful songs and stories about our heritage and culture. Khoza joins me now to talk more about the two-day spectacle. A very good afternoon to you, Khoza, and thank you very much for your time. So, what can people expect at this event?
It's education and also a reliving of the past experiences with a view to the future. As the theme of the show at State Theatre on the 30th and the 31st is called An Evening of Folklore. So as we all know, the folklore entails quite a number of bodies, cultural bodies and subcultural bodies, by means of using tales and olden stories, especially the music called Amahubo, that has managed to safeguard our stories, languages, and other intangible heritages.
Baba, we see a lot of these kinds of events happening in September because we deem that as our Heritage Month. Why is it important to continue it even in October and beyond?
With the challenges of missionary influences as we stand at this juncture, it is important to turn our cultures into subjects of daily consumption, because when we only practice these cultures during Heritage Month, it means we are practicing these cultures because we want to be relevant, but we are not in love with who we are.
Now, what brought about this particular event? I mean, I'm hearing that you're saying that there needs to be, a conservation of our heritage and our culture, but what brought about this particular event and how it is that you're going to be seeing it out?
I decided to theme this show around, culture or the storytelling of the olden ways, like how our grandmothers used to do. Because in those stories, there were very political, deeply political stories around those. I'll give you an example. There was a Inganegwano, or a storytelling that used to be told around Kukumatev. Those were Portuguese who used to come to the rivers when our young women were fetching water, and they were given like biscuits and nice clothes. Later, they were taken for human trafficking by our colonizers. So it's important that we revisit our histories with a view to the future, not to say we are teaching people to live how our forefathers used to. But this is to say there's no way that you can move forward if you haven't studied your history. You will be ruled by any ideology. So this is why I thought, let me have a partnership with State Theatre and stage this on the 30th and the 31st of October, so that our people know who they are.
Baba, do you feel that this is not being done enough? This has not been done enough? I mean, I would imagine that you're bringing up this particular event with this particular intent to educate, because maybe it's not being done, as much as it should be. Is that the sentiment you share?
We have not even begun. For the fact that in an African station we are using English in Africa, it means we still need to have a lot of work so that we conscientize ourselves and then we fall in love with what we see on the mirror. So we need a lot of these. We need more musicians who are not only going to talk about naked bodies of the woman, but people who are going to talk about the importance of identity, dignity, and values.
Aushoge Baba, when young people, because this I would imagine is also trying to appeal to younger people who are experiencing different kinds of cultures that may not be of their own. If a young person says to you, but I prefer listening to the kind of music that speaks about the naked body of a woman, how then do you respond to something like that? How do you get umdomngane, to fall in love with something that you're trying to do?
I think it's to check maybe what can be done within the parameters of modernity by dissecting these cultures, such as linguistic segments that are there, and also teach our kids that, yes, you love this Western music, but you will never make any difference if you do not know who you are. Because when you go to America, you hear musicians talking about the slavery, colonization in 1619 August, when our forefathers were taken there. When they say, "Swing, oh, chariot," they know what they're talking about. So now it's important then to say, what you love actually comes from somewhere. So if you were to work on who you are and say, how can I dissect and depict what our forefathers used to do now, but with a touch of modernity, in hip hop, we fuse our music in rock, all the styles. I think maybe I would say the visibility or the ubiquitousness of our culture will be the answer. It needs to be seen everywhere until we fall in love with with who you are. The reason young people are in love with these modern cultures now, out modeling who they are, is the result of how often our music is being played and being perceived.
Mbuso Khoza, thank you very much for your time, and I hope all goes well with this event. That's Mbuso Khoza, a renowned artist and cultural doyen.